Hey everyone, and welcome back to Open. Our next guests represent the film The Security Guard, a story about a single father who becomes a school safety officer after being disqualified from the NYPD. His protective instincts are put to the test when a school shooting occurs at his daughter Maya's school. And here to share more are the security guard's production manager and actor Rob D'Angelo, as well as actress Makenzi Reign D'angelo. Father and daughter.
Father and daughter. Father
Lovely,
and daughter.
lovely, lovely,
Thank
lovely
you,
to have you here.
It's good to be here.
Yeah. So I want to start first with you.
Let's do
Yes, because you were also a production manager, so you
Exactly.
wore multiple hats, and I did see some of the film,
Okay.
and I know you play the officer.
Yes, I play the
and,
officer.
And so this story itself is based in New York, and
It's based in Brooklyn, actually.
right, specifically in
Yes,
Brooklyn.
exactly.
All right, let's get
Let's
Brooklyn.
get it right. Let's get it right.
And then there's you as the production manager.
Right.
So your association with LaSalle Productions. Let's start there.
Okay, well, first of all, LaSalle is the most hardest working person I've ever seen in my life. He's driven, he's obsessed with movie making. Let's see, I met LaSalle maybe a few years ago. The meeting was kind of tense because he don't like anybody new on his set. So I was introduced to him through a third party, and it was like, oh, why is he here type thing. But I didn't take it personal, you know, and maybe like a few weeks later, we started doing scenes together. Like he brought me back in to do a scene. And after that scene, I became into the LaSalle family. And, you know, we got closer, and now we're like best of friends, basically. And he saw my videos with Makenzi, I guess, and he wanted to do this movie, and he called me up, and he said he has an idea for a movie. He would like my daughter in the lead role, and if anyone knows Makenzi back then, she didn't speak to anybody. So I said, it sounds like a really good idea, Will, but she's not gonna do it. You know what I mean? And he said, just ask her. And I asked her, and she said, let me see the script. Showed her the script, and she was like, okay, I'll do it. And so that's where we started this movie from.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's a wonderful lead into you, Makenzi, because you are quite the compelling actor, and I understand this is your first time being in a film.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So okay, so let's start with the fact that a script was brought to you, and you got to make that decision. What made you decide to do it?
Because I just wanted to do something new because in my school and stuff, I'm just known as like the shy person, I guess. So I'm like, you know what, maybe just do this. I can tell everybody and they won't really believe it.
So you stepped out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. And so, having not really come from an acting background, how did you prepare for this character?
Well, I kind of got into the character, so I read the script and I'm thinking of how she would act so I can actually go into her and actually play the character right.
Did you feel that you were similar to the character?
Yeah, because we're both kind of shy and stuff.
I
We
saw
don't really
that.
sound- Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but there was a lot going on in those eyes,
Yeah.
like there is now.
Exactly.
And so, this was a really this was an intense film.
Very, very. I mean, it was good until like we started filming the most intense scenes, and then it got real. I mean, I don't think we was acting at that point. We was living it.
Right.
And you could see the emotion. It was
Yeah.
heartfelt. Like I really feel for the actual people who've been through that. It's
Right.
like-
Right. Yeah. And the sad part is that it has been a reality.
Has been.
And may it be in the past. It may
Right.
it stay in the past.
May it
And
stay
I
in the
say
past.
has been because
Right.
when I started watching it, I was like, oh, I hope this doesn't invite any ideas because we're already dealing with mental issues.
Actually, while we was filming the last part, it was 2 school shootings like in Texas and everything, and we was like, wow, this has to stop. So this is hopefully it'll shine light so people can have a conversation about it to really stop this situation from happening at all. This is, it's a mess.
Right, and I saw that he tapped into the political aspect of
Exactly.
it, and also the humanity of
Right,
it, right?
right.
Because the reality, there's a lot of reality and a lot
Too
of
much
reality checks
Right,
within the
exactly,
film.
exactly.
Not to mention, he did some wonderful shots with the drones.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about Will LaSalle too. There's Tyler Perry, there's Ryan Coogler, there's Spike Lee, right? But these people are hard to get to. Will LaSalle is right in our area, and one man with the camera. He has a vision. He's from the projects, so he knows the culture.
Right.
So he takes us, he puts us on Amazon Prime, he puts us on Apple TV.
And Fox Soul.
Now
Yeah.
Fox Soul.
Uh-huh.
And Fox Soul is actually a black entertainment channel.
Uh-huh.
And between you and me, Will LaSalle's not black.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? But he's doing it for us
Yeah,
because...
but he's brown. He's brown. We're people
brown.
of color.
There you go. There
Black,
you go.
brown, somos igual.
There you go. But this is the first independent film on Fox Soul. And it's from LaSalle Productions. And like I said, probably 85% of his cast are African American. We're African American. So this really helps us as well to get out there.
It's a full feature too. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
2 hours.
It's 2 hours long.
And it has a lot of, okay, so me on a personal note, I personally am attracted to urban stories. Right. So give it to me real.
This is
because
urban.
that's because our stories need to be told by us the way we have experienced it, right? Because I come from an urban upbringing.
And that's the thing. That's why when he told me the role I was playing was a police officer.
Right.
And I started thinking to myself, I didn't want to copy him from any TV show or nothing like that. I wanted to make him organic. So I looked in myself, and back when I was like 21, 22, I had a best friend who was a little bit older than me, like probably 26 or so, but he was a police officer. But you can never tell because he walked like us, talked like us.
Right.
He didn't have a toothpick like Harris, but he did chew on the straw.
Right.
So I took his essence and I made the character of Harris in my head with that, and he's real. He has a substance.
Relatable.
Relatable. He's
I got
relatable.
it. I saw it. Yeah, because he's kind of like down with the block.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And then I just wonder, Makenzi, right? Because that's a lot for you to digest. The reality, right? And I don't know, I'm going to say it, but, having a mom who was an addict in the story, having her transition, then having to deal with...
Don't give too much away.
All right. That's as much as I'll say. I was just trying to set it up so that I understand, like, how she was able to cope with all of that. Because that's a lot,
It's a lot.
for a young
For a
individual
10-year-old, yes.
to really cope with and craft around. So, how were you able to turn it on and off for yourself?
It's not really like that hardish. It's just that I kind of like mixed into the surroundings.
Right.
So
When you say you mixed into the surroundings, okay, let's talk about being on set versus your real life, right? Because it's like you have to go to these deep places and deal with these deep situations, and then you go home, you can't take it home. So how are you dealing with that?
it's just I keep thinking of like good times I have, and I keep thinking like, okay, this is like just a movie. It has like a big impact, but it's kind of just a movie. So I have to think of my actual life instead of the movie.
Did it bring more gratitude to you in your
Yes.
actual life? That's what's up. High five.
Yeah,
Yep.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, that's a really deep role.
It's very deep role, and she took it like a champ. I mean, I was thinking someday she's not going to want to do it because it got kind of hard,
Right.
you know?
Yes.
But she was waking up at 5 in the morning and like, let's go, let's do it. And I was impressed. You know, there's a scene where guns are on the set and stuff
Right.
like that. So Will brought all the kids together and he said he wants to show them that the guns are fake.
Right.
These are not real guns, don't be
Right.
afraid.
Right.
Such and such. Makenzi was just like, whatever, I know, let's just do this.
Right.
You know, so her mindset was like, we're still just acting. When I get home, this is not going to be in my life, you know?
Yeah, but it's important because
it's important.
right. Oh, well, and also because this is like based on real life.
Definitely.
And so then it could create another level of fear. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
But the idea really is that the film itself serves a purpose
Right.
in not only capturing a particular time of our existence that sadly I wish it didn't even exist.
Exactly.
But it's definitely a conversation that needs to be had. And
that's
it's
the
funny
thing.
because he introduces the film as, oh, this isn't a political film. I'm like, yeah, okay.
I mean, we go down the middle anyway. There's Republicans and Democrats. You know, we just go down the middle and have you open up the conversation and talk about it to try to come up with a solution. That's it.
No,
You know?
right. But again,
Right.
it's about our social.
It's about our social life,
social
yes.
climate
Definitely.
and our children.
Definitely. Like taking her to school, you know, having this in my brain, you know, sometimes I don't want to, you know, feel it and I don't want to think about it. But that's the wrong situation because when you don't think about something, there's no solution.
Right.
If you don't think about something, there's no way to handle it or whatever. So this movie is great because it opens up the conversation to think about it
Right.
so we can prevent it.
Right.
That's
right.
all.
Right. It's all about prevention.
It's all about
Right.
prevention.
And it's also about precaution.
Yes,
Right.
de-
Because you have to
definitely.
be precautious.
Definitely.
Right. So before we run out of time,
Mm-hmm.
Makenzi, I want to know if there's anything in particular that I didn't tap into that you would like to discuss. Like what stands out for you about being here right now and talking about the starring role that you were a part of and the importance it has.
Well, it has like a lot of importance. So
It does have a lot of importance. And how does that make you feel to know that you're part of that message?
well, it means really a lot because I'm happy to be in this, like, even if I thought if I was going to be in the movie, I thought I was going to be in a movie that doesn't really have an impact on people. But since I am in a movie, I'm really thankful to be in there.
Yeah, but I'm listening to what you're saying. You're like, a movie that has a lot of impact, and that's my point.
Yes.
Right? This seems like it's a film that's going to live on for a very long time because it encapsulates a time period.
Yes, definitely. And the whole thing is, hopefully it doesn't happen again.
Right.
There hasn't been an issue like that here, really, in New York City.
Right.
But there has been shootings outside of the schools.
Right.
So it's all gun violence.
Right.
You know, so we want to just end the whole thing.
Right.
Like I said, open up the conversation and, you know, put an end to it.
Yeah, and really have a conversation about how we're doing it to
To
ourselves.
ourselves, exactly.
We have to
Exactly.
come together.
We have to. That's the only way.
And the way that happens is through
Conversation.
conversations.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
And also producing and creating these films that are about us by us.
By us. That's the main thing. Because that way it's organic.
Right.
It's real. It's not anything made up. It's not anything that they think it is. You know, it's real.
And so the last thing is, how is that working with your dad together? That's it. This is the last thing.
Oh, yeah, me and my dad did like videos before, but it was on like a lower level. So
On the lower
We,
level.
we, we did lower level. Now it's high grade. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then for you
And
to
for
see
me,
her in this professional role.
This means the world to me, honestly, because we have this forever as well. You know, this is like stamped in time. That, you know, although it's a real touchy subject, I mean, we can always look back and say that we had a movie together. You know.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
That is so beautiful. I'm so glad y'all brought it
Thank
here.
you. Also, one more
Yes.
thing. I just want to thank the cast. The cast did amazing, from, of course, Makenzi to like Annie, Tara, Lance, Bland, Pap, you know, the guy who played Pap, Justin. Everybody came and gave 200%. And that's what really made this movie pop. Because the cast, with the movie, the whole direction, everything came together, and we made a masterpiece.
And lastly, how important is it for us to support our work?
We need to do that, because who else is going to support us?
Right.
You know, we need to do that.
And even though it's on Amazon, you know, it's one of those situations
Yeah.
where, again, it's like everything. Everything's numbers.
Right,
It's
exactly.
numbers.
Exactly.
It's numbers. So
that's why everyone needs to tune in I mean, Fox Soul picked it up, so it'll be on Fox Soul this Saturday, the 12th, at 3 p.m. So, look out for it. And Will is also working on some other stuff behind the scenes. I can't talk about it, but it's going to be big.
All right, well, we'll have him on
Yes,
when that
yes.
time comes.
Sounds good.
But we do thank you coming on, representing
Thank you.
LaSalle Productions,
Great
as
to be
well
here.
as the Security Guard film.
Yes, yes.
Once again, Rob and Makenzi Reign D'angelo. Woo! Mother and daughter.
Yes.
And they are both in the film The Security Guard, which is currently streaming on Amazon Prime and Fox Soul. And bueno, that's it, man. Then we got to support each other, right? Because the more they see us viewing our stuff, the more we can provide content as such. All right? So stay tuned. Our Open Artist Spotlight is coming up next.